Hello guys, I'm here to talk about the ethics of AI and why I think AI is going to be beneficial for society in the long run. Um, I think that having this sort of technology and tooling is really helpful for increasing our intelligence as a species, and that we should not go back to the way that we were like 100 years ago. So, I have some points here. It's not actually taking as many jobs as you might think. So artificial intelligence is more so refactoring in the way in which people work, not necessarily taking away jobs that may utilize these LLMs or these artificial intelligence. Most jobs are actually using large language models, which is a type of artificial intelligence. Like OpenAI's ChatGPT would be an example of that, and Google's Gemini. And so there are, however, some ethical concerns when it comes to AI and LLM specifically. So specifically, the data to train these models has to come from a source, and that source might have copyright claims to that material. So using this data is actually unethical, because you're basically stealing content from other people. Specifically for image generation tools like Stable Diffusion, like DALL-E 3. I think these are generally using or scraping images from online without the consent of the person who actually created the art or owns the image. So I think that's something that we need to address. And let's see. There's also job displacement and skill redundancy there. So there is going to be job displacement and redundancy, of course. But like with any new advancement in society, we usually restructure, reconfigure. The market usually does that on its own. I don't think that a bunch of jobs are just going to fall off the edge of a cliff. I think that there's going to be obviously new jobs that come around as well to replace these more redundant tasks that are going to be replaced by AI. And there's also going to be new possibilities with jobs because people are going to be able to evaluate a situation in a more and computational and absolute way. So like, the hell am I saying? Okay. Okay, so yeah. And the idea that programming is going to go away, I don't agree with that. I think there's too many humanistic skills required to program. You need to actually evaluate a situation. You need to create a system that's robust and scalable with time. And I think brute forcing that with LLMs is not yet advisable, especially for very complex systems that have a lot of inner working parts and are multifaceted. Um, so yeah, you need a lot of foresight and visualization to handle uh, these code bases, and I think LLMs can help in the short term with like short single responsibility modules. These can obviously be optimized by LLMs. Just like with any very simple algorithm, you can find out how to most efficiently create it using LLMs, but I don't think the overall system should be managed by an artificial intelligence. Okay. Let's see. And about the jobs, I'm gonna look into there's some research that I did, and I found out that so census data released in March show that 2.6 of employers reported cutting jobs between July and February of this year in response to the introduction of generative AI, and 2.8% reported adding jobs because of it. So we're actually gaining more jobs because of generative AI instead of losing jobs. So that's something to consider. Um, and then here's a quote from let's see, there's somebody who, his name is Keith Frenzy. So, Farazi Greenlight, maybe you've heard of them. But the chief executive, he says that it's not so much AI is coming for our jobs, but rather roles are being reconfigured with an AI partner to help businesses and employees work better and more efficiently, while also improving employee job satisfaction. So that's something to look into. And then here's something else that I've learned about. So with Stable Diffusion models such as DALL-E 3, um, there's a new software that artists are using called Nightshade, and basically Nightshade manipulates the pixel level, um, manipulates the images at a pixel level, and therefore disrupts the learning process of these LLMs, or sorry, Stable Diffusion. But you can't, the humans themselves can't differentiate the manipulation, so it's just a way to protect artists. And I think that we should use this temporarily as a band-aid, but we should also have ethical frameworks for the type of data we can use to train these models. I think that's more beneficial and ethical in the long run. Um, so yeah, so just to um, talk a little bit about generative AI, or sorry, artificial general intelligence. This is a big fear for some people because they think once we get to artificial general intelligence, we're not going to be able to control the learning process of some of these intelligences. And when they become sentient, then we're going to run into issues with managing the intelligence. It's kind of like opening a whole can of worms, and I think it's called the singularity is what it's called, to where once we reach the singularity, everything past that is like unknown, and these AI models are going to um, reach unknown limits in terms of intelligence that we've never seen before. So we need ways in which we can actually address this issue before it comes. And so let's see. So yeah, in terms of general AI, I think that we need an ethical framework for this kind of stuff, specifically for artificial intelligence, which I don't think we've actually, um, I think we have like, uh, we have invisible guidelines created by companies themselves, but I don't think we have like a top-down managerial ethical framework for utilizing these technologies, and I think we should, in my opinion. Um, so let's see. So yeah, regulation and governance. Implement robust regulations and governance frameworks to ensure the AI development and deployment are transparent, ethical, and beneficial to society. So this is another thing. Like we should have transparent systems to where people can actually see what the type of data was actually going into making these models, and them being the AI systems we have now. Most of them are proprietary, which means we can't actually see that. Um, so yeah, we need to have like guidelines and rules to basically we need fair and accountability. We need fairness and accountability for the data that's actually going in the systems, and we need to be able to evaluate the data because that's the data itself is what's going to determine the behavior of the model, right? So we're teaching this AI model with specific data. That data is going to influence how it learns. Just like if a child is raised with a manipulative parent, we don't want that. We want a parent that's going to teach the child how to act in a moral way. We want the same thing for artificial intelligence. Us being the parents for this new intelligence. So education and research. Okay, let's see. Yeah, and here's another thing to consider is that how are we actually going to differentiate humans and artificial intelligence? And like if we were to go in the path of, you know, the Elon Musk's Neuralink, for instance, is basically implementing this technology into the human body. Um, so are we going to get to a point where we can use flesh and technology in congruence with each other? So this technology and flesh, there's going to, at one certain point, there's going to be some ambiguity between humans and robots. And I think that's something we have to address before it becomes reality. And I think that's also something that needs to be addressed in this ethical framework that we establish from this new AI uprising. So whether or not we should try to mimic humans as much as possible, I think that's something we need to address. Because if we try to clone humans, I think that there's way too much ambiguity, and we can't really make a um, moral we can't judge morality if we don't know whether or not something is actually human. Because if it's a robot that doesn't have, we don't give it that same level of consideration because it doesn't abide by, it doesn't have a conscious or sentient experience yet, um, similar to ours at least. So it's something we need to consider, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. There also needs to be some public engagement. So we need to engage the public in discussions about AI and its implications for society. I think we should definitely be doing that. And I think it's already happening right now. So people are talking about AI. I'm chronically online, obviously. So I see a lot of conversations about AI, and I think that we should keep having them. And we should try and see things in a holistic view to where we're not just looking at the lens, we're not just looking through some specific lens, we need to view it in a holistic sense. Obviously, people are going to still want to do stuff. AI isn't going to replace everything. I don't think that's the case. I think that AI is going to increase our intelligence and it's going to automate a lot of stuff, but I still think that we as humans are going to want that drive of working towards something and competing with each other. I think that's going to be the biggest drive for humanity is competition with each other, utilizing these artificial intelligences. So, like for instance, um, I guess this isn't really a great idea. I mean, sorry, great example, but with chess, right? We have this artificial intelligence that is better than all the players in chess, but obviously people still play the game, and there's still this whole computation competition, and we have all these people playing, and there's no real disruption between the players and the AI itself, and we still see that chess has grown to the one of the biggest. It's grown to its like maximum popularity right now. It's like it's not it hasn't like fallen off the edge like so many um AI skeptics believe. They don't It's not just going to go away. Like people are still interested in the game and people are still playing. So I think that's going to be I think that route that we've already seen with chess is going to play out in many different areas of life, whether that's programming, um whether that's other jobs. I guess the difference is, are we actually going to make money off of it? And I think my answer is, I think society might change more over to a sort of consumer, um, like entertainment style society, to where just like chess does make money because people want to watch it and are entertained by the activity, and the people that play it and are really good at it make money because they're really good and they get to entertain people. I think we're going to see something similar with with the market in the future. I think because there's no real um, entertainment value. I mean, there's definitely entertainment value in seeing artificial intelligence playing chess, but I don't think that's the same thing as watching other humans do it. And I don't think people would pay money to see artificial intelligence, um, fight against each other. So I think that's where society is going, just based off of the route that chess took. I think that we can look towards chess as a prime example and an example that's already kind of settled down before this whole ramp up has occurred. So again, we might see something like entertainment and um, entertainment centric economy, I think is what we might see. So if you have these skills, which a matter of fact, these can be, which by the way, they can be utilizing artificial intelligence, um, like to increase your own intelligence. I think that's what we're going to look at. That's what we're going to see, is that we're going to value human intelligence and human ability, but just in a different way. I don't think that we're going to try and focus on developing as the society ourselves. I think it's going to more or less be handled by artificial intelligence, but I still think we're going to value human experience like we already do. I don't think as soon as artificial intelligence becomes exactly like us, that we're just going to drop everything and say, well, there's no difference because the intelligence is greater, greater than humans, and it somehow has more emotional intelligence and all this, I still think we're going to value humans for being humans because that's what we are, just like any other animal. Um, so yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think trying to find an example. So outside of chess, something I do programming, so something like maybe something could happen like this to where we artificial intelligence does take away all our jobs when it comes to programming and making like efficient and robust systems, but we still have an area. Um, I guess programming isn't really that entertaining though, huh? So maybe maybe programming will drop off the edge, just like many other jobs that are gonna go away. And this is like far in the future. I'm obviously exaggerating a lot. Um, there's some things to consider. There's some jobs that aren't going to change, I don't think, anytime soon. So obviously it's not the case for everything, but I guess for programming it's not super entertaining. People don't really like it, so it's not as similar to chess, but I do think there is going to be some games that are going to be like where intelligence is going to be valued, and I don't think we're all just going to become negative IQ Andys. I don't think that's going to happen. I think people want to become smarter, they want to learn, and I think that others want to see other people be smart and utilize their intelligence for something. And so, yeah, I think that's pretty much it that I want to talk about. Thank you for watching.